Same old Pakistani story. No Pakistani will admit nobody stands with Ukraine. Let me tell you this, even the Americans don't stand with Ukraine. The world does not stand with Ukraine. Standing means if you consider somebody your brother, you stand with him, you be there physically. Because of the one-child policy, China has an aging population. And this aging population is detrimental to China's economic growth. Like India has a young population. Jai Hind friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Prime Minister Modi has landed in Johannesburg for the BRICS summit. And I reiterate, what is BRICS? B-R-I-C-S. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now, South Africa is a late entrant. It was BRIC first, B-R-I-C, then it became BRICS. Now, a lot of countries have been invited as observers, as countries who want to become part of BRICS. For example, the UAE, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia. Now, all these countries want to become part of BRICS. And it will really strengthen BRICS if all these countries become part of BRICS, But the fact of the matter is, a lot of other countries have been called. I'm informed Bangladesh is there and, even Palestine is there. That is what the Pakistani media is saying. Palestine is there, but we have not been invited because, I don't know, India did not want us to be invited, and it's conspiracy, sajish, a conspiracy by the Indians that they don't want to see Pakistan progressing, and Pakistan has got all the potential in the world, all the talent in the world, the wealth of mineral resources. Pakistan has got a nuclear weapon program, and Pakistan is this and Pakistan is that. But however, India is conniving. India, the Hindus are always conniving against us. It's the same old Pakistani story. No Pakistani will admit that actually their country has nothing to offer to the world. They will never admit it and they know the truth. Deep within their hearts, every one of those 250 million Pakistanis know the truth that their country is worthless. The country has nothing to offer to the world apart from terrorism. There is nothing, right? And wherever they fail, the problem, why does Pakistan always fail? Because Pakistan does not realize the root cause of its problems. It's always blaming somebody else. Sometimes it's Israel's fault, sometimes India's fault, America's fault. It's everybody else's fault except for the Pakistanis themselves. It's never their fault. They're blameless, they're innocent children. They don't know anything about the world. They're so sweet, they are blameless, they're innocent. It is the world that keeps on conspiring against the Pakistanis. That is what the Pakistani mindset is, and therefore the Pakistani media is going to town saying that, hey, we should have been invited. Why? Because we have a nuclear weapon. This is Pakistan's logic. Just imagine, this is Pakistan's logic. BRICS is a platform for emerging economies, right? That was the whole intent of creating BRICS. It is a platform for emerging economies. The Pakistani economy has tanked. You see, how is Pakistan an economy at all? Forget about emerging, non-emerging, forget about it. How is Pakistan an economy at all? It doesn't produce anything. There is hardly any consumption. They survive from one IMF loan to another Chinese loan to another Saudi Arab loan to another UAE loan to another American loan. That's how they have been surviving for 75 years. They make absolutely nothing. They have nothing to offer to this world. And yet, there is this deep sense of grievance against the world. There is this deep sense of, that we take offense against the world because the world has conspired against us. This whole victimhood narrative among the Pakistanis. The Pakistanis are not invited because BRICS people felt that they have nothing to offer to the world. And let us say India conspired. Academically speaking, India did conspire against the Pakistanis. But Pakistan's best friend China is a permanent member of BRICS, isn't it? Now, isn't it China's responsibility to get Pakistan to the meeting? Why is it India's responsibility? Why is it India's responsibility? You know what China does? China supports Pakistan only in terrorism. So when you say that Maulana Masood Azhar must be declared a global terrorist, or Sajid Mir has to be declared a global terrorist, there China will help Pakistan. Because it is actually there that Pakistan needs China's help. But when it comes to pushing up Pakistanis diplomatically, saying that, okay, come, be an observer in BRICS, come and see how it works. China will never support Pakistan because China knows Pakistan's actual place. They know how to use Pakistan for their narrow strategic interests, or even tactical, if I may say so, or operational interests, if not strategic. They know what they want from Pakistan, and they do not encourage Pakistan beyond a certain level, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing is, if Saudi Arabia becomes part of BRICS, I think it will give a huge boost to the BRICS platform. And another news coming out is that Russian President Vladimir Putin will not be attending BRICS because there is an arrest warrant out because he invaded Ukraine. Now, this is stupid. The Western countries have an arrest warrant out for the Russian president because he invaded Ukraine. If that be the logic, and that be the logic alone, half a dozen US presidents or a dozen US presidents should have been in prison because all of them invaded some country or the other. Henry Kissinger onwards, if you look at Nixon, if you look at even Barack Obama, in fact, displaced millions of people. He ordered the death of thousands of people, innocent people, and he was given the Nobel Peace Prize. Imagine. And look at George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., the Iraq wars, Vietnam, Korea, Latin America. Every place on planet Earth every continent has been invaded by the Americans. Was there an arrest warrant out for any American president? No. Then what did President Putin do wrong? So everybody in India also was like, Ukraine is not that innocent, by the way. Let me just tell you, all these taking sides and wearing t-shirts and we stand with Ukraine. Nobody stands with Ukraine. Let me tell you this, even the Americans don't stand with Ukraine. The world does not stand with Ukraine. Standing means if you consider somebody your brother, you stand with him, you be there physically. They'll make a flying visit, they'll kiss babies and they'll wave to the crowds, they'll hug Zelensky and they'll go back to their countries. If you stand with Ukraine, I'm talking about NATO countries, if you stand with Ukraine, put NATO troops on the ground. All you're doing is giving weapons and getting Ukrainians killed. And of course, Russians. This is stupid. This whole warrant against Putin is so stupid. It's so stupid that it defies imagination. All right. We have another news for you, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Now, the news is that China's economy, world's second largest, in deep distress. Now, the Wall Street Journal says that... now, listen very carefully to these words. And this is the Wall Street Journal, ladies and gentlemen. No less than the Wall Street Journal. This is the top financial newspaper of planet Earth. There is nothing bigger than the Wall Street Journal. This says that China's economy, the world's second largest, is now in deep distress and its successful model of growth for 40 years stands broken. A prominent American financial publication has said, this is Wall Street Journal, noting the signs of trouble extend beyond China's dismal economic data to distant provinces. So, in a major Sunday story, wrote that economists now believe that China is entering an era of much slower growth made worse by unfavorable demographics and widening divide with the US and its allies, which is jeopardizing foreign investment and trade. Now, let's delve briefly into how China makes money. I have discussed this ad nauseum, ladies and gentlemen. I've been at it. Every second, third day, I'm telling you this. And I will tell this again today because this is great news. Number one, China makes its money from contract manufacturing, which is largely American. There are other countries also, but largely American companies, largely European companies have their manufacturing bases in China. Cheap goods are made in China, then they're sent back for the American to consume, or the Europeans to consume, or the Japanese to consume, or the Australians to consume. Next step is that, where does China make its money? China makes its money from these people who want their goods to be manufactured in China. Now, they pay China in dollars. So China is coming up in a major way. China has made a lot of money. But suddenly, because of demographics, now, because of the one-child policy, China has an aging population. And this aging population is detrimental to China's economic growth. Like India has a young population. India has a youth bulge, a massive youth bulge. There are demographic dividends. The average Chinese is 10 to 12 years older than an average Indian. You can imagine, he's a decade plus older to his Indian counterpart. This is one major stumbling block in China's economic prosperity, the path to economic prosperity. Number two, China has, made money from the Europeans and the Americans, and now the Chinese are buying weapons, building weapons from the same money that they got from the Americans and the Europeans, and now they're threatening the Americans and the Europeans with the same weapons that they bought from their money. So the Americans are saying, well, fine, we are slowly going to withdraw our manufacturing from you, because that is in our control. This is exactly why Prime Minister Modi went to US in the first place. I've been saying this time and again. It never came out in the media. Nobody discussed this. I have been saying this from the time Prime Minister was in the White House. And I've been saying that this is the real reason for Prime Minister Modi going to US. Everything else is fine. Those dinners that he had with Jill and Joe Biden and, meeting with investors, meeting with the Tesla boss, meeting with the Google, Microsoft boss, that is all fine. That's okay. But the main thing is that he went there because he wanted American companies to come and make in India. But currently, where are those American companies making? For example, Tesla. Where are they making? For example, Apple. Where are they making? They're making in China. He's saying, move out from China and come to India, I'll help you. Now, this is hitting China very badly. China has not been able to recover from COVID. And look, what does the Wall Street Journal say? Fantastic. It says China's external and internal debt is 300% of its GDP. Wow. China's external and internal debt, together is 300% is GDP. How's that even possible? I mean, why did China borrow so much of money? And this is what Xi Jinping said when he met local councillors and ministers in the provinces of China. Stop borrowing to create infrastructure. That has limited viability over a period of time. Limited viability. You're just borrowing and creating these glitzy skyscrapers made of steel and glass and giving the impression to the world that China is a world-class economy. Now it's crashing. Chinese banks are crashing. Chinese real estate companies are crashing. Why are they crashing? Not because they've done fraud, which they would have anyway, they're Chinese, but not because of that. The basic reason is that their fundamentals are flawed. And now the fundamentals are catching up with them. And it says that rather than just a period of economic weakness, this could be dimming of a long era. According to the report, the total debt, including that held by various levels of government and state-owned companies, climbed to nearly 300% of China's GDP as of 2022. So this is last year's data. This year it's getting worse. All right. In Beijing's corridors of power, senior officials have recognized that the growth model of past decade has reached its limits. Meanwhile, China on Monday also trimmed for the second time this year's one-year loan prime rate by 10 basis points from 3.55 to 3.45 and did not change the 5-year rate, which stands at 4.20% to revive economic growth in the world's second largest economy after that of the United States of America. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen. China is getting hammered from all sides possible, right? And the last news is that, very interesting, and I'll just quickly run you through it. This is the Financial Express. It says that India's growing ties with Armenia and Greece are unsettling Turkey, Azerbaijan and Pakistan. Turkey, Azerbaijan and Pakistan have made this triad sort of thing. All right. And the so-called Islamic triad. And you see, you should never have groupings based on religion. Yeah. It doesn't work. Religion does not work in today's day and age. It's a personal matter. Keep it to your homes. Of course, Pakistan and Turkey will always use this card because that is all that they're worth. Now, they got together with Azerbaijan. Now, what India did was, India started sending all these Pinaka missiles to Armenia. And now, Modi ji will be in Greece. And once he's in Greece, he's going to sign a lot of defense pacts and all that. And Greece and Turkey don't get along well. So, this problem, I'll just tell you briefly. Armenia is a traditional ally of Russia and Greece is a member of NATO. By strengthening its ties with these countries, India is sending a strong message to the informal triad led by Turkey. Growing ties with Armenia and Greece are also part of India's larger strategy to diversify its partnership in the region, as it is no longer content to rely on its traditional allies such as Russia and Iran. It is now looking to build a new partnership with countries that share in its interests, such as Greece and Armenia. In 2019, India and Armenia signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement which has led to increased cooperation in areas such as trade, investment, defense and culture. India has also been providing military assistance to Armenia, which is at odds with Azerbaijan. Now, Turkey does not like it, Pakistan does not like it, and it does not matter whether Pakistan likes it or not because Pakistan has nothing to contribute in this trade as it is. The heavy lifting is being done by Turkey and Turkey does not like it. Just want to tell people of Turkey and the government of people of Turkey, I've got no complaints against you. You're good people. I have no doubt about that. But to Erdogan and his lunatics who are there with him, I just want to say one thing. You say Kashmir, 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 we'll say Armenia, Armenia, Armenia. You cause us pain. We have the capacity, we have the money, we have the brain, we have the diplomatic reach to cause you 100 times more pain, and we will do that. Kashmir banega Pakistan. Kashmiriyon se nata kya, la ilaha illallah. Come on, Pakistanis. Sing along in the chorus, along with Azerbaijan and along with Turkey. God bless you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, press like, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.